Fortnite has had its fair share of giants. But have you ever wondered which one of these is the biggest? We are stacking Fortnite's biggest giants against each other to see who is bigger. Will we find a giant bigger than Galactus? Well, let's find out. The Mega City is the tallest building ever in Fortnite's history, and its height is 119. I mean, I think this is pretty accurate. We are literally right at the top of the giant building here. That's the robot dragon heads, and that is 119 meters. The Mega City's Mega Tower is 119 meters high. But is it really the tallest tower in Fortnite's history? The Doomsday Device 2.0 was released in the event of Season 2 of Chapter 3. And previously, we thought this was the tallest building ever in Fortnite. But is it really taller than the Mega City's tower? Well, let's find out. There is a ton of videos online of this giant device. But because this was in an old season long gone, there is no way for me to see the model and measure it by the height. So to figure out the size of this iconic tower, we're going to have to compare it to something we already do know the size of. During the Season 2 Chapter 3 final event, the Doomsday Device was comparatively a similar size to the giant robots that eventually destroyed it. So if we could figure out the size of the giant robots, we could figure out the size of the Doomsday Device. So how big is the robots? Yes, is the question? Okay. For us to figure out the size of the Doomsday Device, we need to figure out the size of the giant robots. To figure out the size of the giant robot, we need to recreate the giant robots in creative mode and measure him to the exact size. Holy, he's huge. All we gotta do is put the head back on and we can now measure this bad boy. I think this is going to work. Yes, okay, he's not fully complete. I haven't added his arms or anything like that, but we're just trying to get a size of the height of this guy, just so we can figure out the rest and make sure this video is accurate. Okay, so by just hovering above the head of the giant robots, we can go down, look directly down, and we get 155 meters. Yo, that is the actual size of the mecha robot. Yo! With the mecha robot being 155 meters high, we can compare that with the Doomsday Device that we saw in the final event. At first glance, players may think the giant robot is bigger than the Doomsday Device, but hold on, this might not be true. In this part of the event, the giant robot is actually standing on a hill, and the Doomsday Device is actually dug down into the ground. When the giant robot falls, we catch this moment, and we can see the giant robot is only ever so slightly bigger than the Doomsday Device, maybe. This would mean that the collision Doomsday Device is measured around 150 meters high. Actually, yes, making it bigger than the giant Mega City Tower in our Fortnite game. Speaking of Chapter 3 events, the Herald, in a final event, actually transformed and became giant when she finally turned our Fortnite islands to chrome. Yes, we didn't actually get to see the giant Herald in our Fortnite game, but it would be interesting to know how tall she actually is and whether she's actually taller than some of the other giants in our Fortnite history. Let's take a look. In the final event, Herald emerged from a giant tornado, and as she was taken out, she emerged into chrome and became some kind of giant chrome Herald monster. Right now, Epic Games does not have a model for the giant chrome Herald monster, so we can't simply build it in-game. We can't just Google online how tall the giant monster Herald actually was. But to find the answers of the giant chrome Herald's height, we have to look at the event. During the event, we know the Herald took out the Reality Falls tree, and we actually get some pretty good shots at the size of the Herald compared to the destroyed Reality Falls tree. We can see that the Herald is actually looking over and down at the reality tree, so we can assume that she is bigger than this iconic tree in Fortnite. So if we were able to find out the exact height of the Reality Falls tree, we could estimate the size of the giant chrome Herald. To finding the size of the reality tree, we had to find a video online where somebody is flying directly down towards the tree whilst they pinged the distance monitor on the ground. There's literally only one video like this, and it gives us an indication on the actual height of the reality tree. We can see from this video, at the time the player is at the top of the Reality Falls tree, the ground is 120 meters away. But to be more precise, the distance monitor is a little further away than directly on the ground. It really needs to be about here. So it would probably mean that the Reality Falls tree is actually 115 meters high. If the reality tree is 115 meters high, and we know the giant chrome Herald is taller than the tree, we could probably make a guess that this giant Herald boss probably sits around 140 meters tall. Yo, that's kind of nuts. So far on our list, the giant mecha robot from the collision event is definitely the tallest, followed by the Doomsday Collision Device, which has a close second. These are the two biggest giants that are currently competing in the top two spots for the largest event event ever. Well, that's if we didn't include Galactus and the giant UFO cube cradle thing. If you guys can't tell, we're covering all the giant bosses that have happened basically since Chapter 3 started all the way to Chapter 4. We have previously done videos. We compared all the monsters from Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 together, and it is quite clear who is the biggest. Hey, if you guys want to go see those videos, check the description. I'll link them. They're pretty epic. But our comparison video is not over yet. There are rumors of some kind of giant monster coming to Fortnite. An iconic beast that comes from the ocean. And we want to know how big he would actually be if he came to Fortnite and where he would fit on this chart. Oh, and by the way, I'm also super interested to find out whether he's bigger than the Devourer. Yo, who is bigger, the Godzilla or the Devourer? Hey, we're gonna find out right now. As Godzilla has not yet arrived in our Fortnite game, we can't jump in and measure him up. But with Godzilla being an iconic monster, we can actually go onto Google and find his exact height. There are tons of websites, images, and diagrams online. The actual heights of the various different Godzillas that are in existence. And let's just say, some of their sizes range quite a lot. So, let's take the average size of most of the Godzillas that are making an appearance. And most of them seem to be around 100 meters high. So if Godzilla did come to our game, he would literally be around 100 meters high if the game stays true to the lore. If this is Godzilla, how does he compare to Fortnite's version of Godzilla? Their iconic monster, the Devourer. How tall is the Devourer compared to Godzilla? The Devourer came to our Fortnite game in Chapter 1. And at the time, everybody thought, before he was revealed, that this might have been a Godzilla collaboration. But it turns out it was just Epic Games' own Godzilla. The height and size of this monster is still unknown, but there is one clever way that we can find out. During the Fortnite event, the giant monster fights a giant robot. And we can clearly see that the giant monster is definitely taller than the robot. For us to figure out the height of the giant monster, we might first need to know the height of the robots, which just so happens we did at the start of this video. We already know that the giant robot ranks exactly at 155 meters high. So if this is the robot right here, and this is the monster, it might be fair to say that the monster is going to be higher than 155 meters high. But I think it's fair to assume if both the robot and the monster were standing up in the normal way, the monster itself would tower over the robot, making the giant Devourer somewhere around 175 meters high. This is only an estimation, but it still answers our question. Who is actually bigger? Fortnite's attempt at a giant Godzilla-type monster versus the iconic beast himself? Fortnite's Devourer is considerably taller than Godzilla himself. And, well, to answer the question, does any of these new monsters beat Galactus? No. Galactus is actually giant. None of these new Fortnite giants actually even come close to him.